So I'm really surprised that there wasn't more Star Wars news, being May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I always found it really, really odd that Disney chose not to do their Star Wars celebration on that day, and it's just sort of languished. I mean, it's just ripe for the picking, isn't it? However, we do have this, and this just goes to show how utter... honestly, I've already done one video on her today, and I am going to repeat some of my things, some of my talking points. Just what an absolute nightmare of a woman she really is. And it's not that she's a woman, just a nightmare of a leader, a boss, a president of a company. Kathleen Kennedy is taking influence, like I'm sighing as I'm saying it, from James Bond to eventize the movies. It's also, like, I've read the article, the interview that this comes from. She's retroactively coming back and being like, oh, actually, I always wanted to do this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You wanted to milk this cash cow all the way to the bank. And then you realised that you couldn't release a Star Wars movie every single year or whatever it was. And that people are checking out from it. So now you're like, oh, I've always said we need to do... No, you haven't. We need to make them event films. No, you haven't. You've never said this. You're talking absolute nonsense. So she did a new interview with, I think it was Esquire. I've got the interview. We'll go to it in a minute. And Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy revealed that she's taken the James Bond approach when it comes to eventizing Star Wars on the big screen. Eventizing. Is that even a word? I don't even think that's a word. Maybe it is. I don't care if it is or it isn't. It sounds dumb. And it's just this retroactive stuff. FYI, right? This is a good idea. I'm not ragging on her for this. But mark my words, if Solo didn't prove to be a financial failure for Lucasfilm and Disney, you would be getting a new Star Wars movie consecutively, just churning them out. Because they don't care. They don't care. And that's why we're getting all of this sort of regurgitated small screen stuff. And the thing is, even hardcore Star Wars fans now are checking out. They're like, oh, really? Yeah, well, I guess I'll check it. There's no hype. There's no interest. This Rey movie, who the fuck asked for that? I mean, it's literally Kathleen Kennedy's self-insert into the Star Wars franchise. She is Rey, or Rey is her. No one asked for that movie. We're going to be getting it anyway. Well, if they actually choose to make it. But anyway, whatever. I digress. Hit subscribe if you are new here. And give the video a like and a share. So let's check this out, right? It's been close to 3.5 years since the last Star Wars movie. Should I do it? The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I've done it. I don't care. Some people would get really uppity when I do that impression. Suck it. So anyway, by the sounds of things, we won't be revisiting the galaxy far, far away on the big screen for almost another 3 years. Supposedly. She does actually reveal a date here. Again, mark my words. If Solo wasn't a bomb, we'd be getting it quicker. So during Star Wars Celebration last month, President of Lucasfilm Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that they have scaled back on their plans for Star Wars features after the underperformance of Rise and Solo: A Star Wars Story. But there are 3 new movies in the pipeline, apparently. Now, James Mangold's film is centered around the first Jedi and the discovery of the Force. That film, I bet you anything, I guarantee you, the deal is James Mangold's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny must be a success for him to get that film. I guarantee it. And Dave Filoni's Mandoverse event film will serve as a conclusion to the various Disney Plus shows. That film will happen, but it shouldn't be Filoni that's doing it. It should actually be Jon Favreau, I think, personally. And then the Charmin Obaid Chinoy's sequel trilogy follow-up set 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. This is the movie which was pitched by Damon Lindelof. He got a writer on board because they obviously liked the pitch, and then they booted him off, but kept the director, who had nothing to do with the story, and are now changing the story that they'd initially liked. It's an utter joke. Utter joke. So anyway, a new interview with Empire, sorry, not Esquire, and she says this: Kathleen Kennedy is looking at James Bond for how to eventize Star Wars movies. Ladies and gents, we are now at a point where the president of Lucasfilm, right, the woman running Star Wars, has to take hints, tips, tricks from James Bond. How far the Star Wars brand has fallen. Like, that's really bad. Now, James Bond's great, don't get me wrong. Long-running franchise, done really, really well. But it's not Star Wars. Are you joking me? Star Wars, the person running Star Wars, running it into the ground, now has to take clues, hints, tips, whatever you want to call it, from James Bond? You utter joker. That goes to show how far it's fallen. Really, really how far it's fallen. So she said this. Now, it's a question of when those 3 upcoming movies are expected to arrive. And as Kennedy tells Empire, that's simply a case of when they're ready. Check this out, ladies and gents. I've often brought up Bond, Kennedy tells us at Star Wars Celebration, although they've only just recently published this interview. No, you haven't. I don't remember you ever bringing up James Bond. That's every 3 or 4 years, and there wasn't this pressure to feel like you had to have a movie every year. I feel that was very important to Star Wars. And good stories. We have to eventize this. The simple answer is nothing's likely to hit the multiplexes until at least 2025. So she says this. It's much better to tell the truth, she says. Oh, really? What, like that Kevin Feige movie that you've lied about that wasn't happening, that definitely was happening, you idiot? That we're going to make these movies when they're ready to be made. And release them when they're ready to be released. What a joker. One absolute joker. She also reveals a little bit about this new movie with Daisy Ridley. What we're exploring is the evolution of the Jedi. We're going very far back. We're looking at the present, and now we're moving 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. The First Order has fallen. The Jedi are in chaos. What Jedi? There are no fucking Jedi. There's even a question of how many exist anymore. Yeah, no shit. And Rey's building the new Jedi Order based on the text that she was given and that Luke imparted on her. How far Star Wars has fallen.